guys, good afternoon. What a wild day we have had since the middle of the night for some of us who were woken up by thunderstorm activity. That's since cleared out. I'm going to recap this whole thing. First and foremost, you guys, if you're not familiar with blowing dust, it is coming over from West Texas. That is what you're seeing outside right now. It is now 3:56. Critical grass fire risk, I'll first and foremost say, of course, it is high, and most of you probably know that at the moment. You've probably gotten the alerts on your phone. We are under a weather impact alert day all the way until 9 o'clock. It started out for thunderstorms. Now it is for that elevated grass fire risk. You guys, we're seeing winds gusting up to 60 miles an hour. So blowing dust is what you're seeing when you step outside right now. There's nothing to worry about. It is just very, very windy. And of course, factoring in that above ground level, the higher that you get, the winds are probably gusting much higher than this. I'm not surprised that it blew dust into central Texas. So just using caution on the roadways. I will notate a couple of things. High profile vehicles. Going to be an issue for those guys, especially the larger trucks, things of that nature, but also just allowing a little bit more space than you regularly would between you and other cars out on the roadways through the afternoon and evening commutes for sure. I just drove across Bell County again. I've done that a couple of times today. And I will say, just now coming back here, traffic was moving very, very slowly on I-35 and other roadways as well. There's a lot of folks who are not used to seeing this. So again, just allowing more time out on the roadways in general over the next few hours, particularly until winds start to back off a little bit. But honestly, even in the overnight hours tonight, we're still going to have gusty conditions once the sun does go down all the way through even tomorrow morning probably. So likely we're not going to see the blowing dust like we are right now tomorrow morning. I think it will start to go away by then. But just letting you know what that is first and foremost. And I'm going to show you some video looking at over Temple here in a second. Briefly recapping this morning though, and thank you for tuning in if you are just joining on 6 Plus, YouTube or Facebook. These are rain totals from this morning. For the most part, most folks got under an inch. Now, Corsicana and a few places did get just over an inch of rain with that line that moved through very, very quickly right as we were all waking up. We do have those wind and fire concerns, of course. All the peak shaded counties, including Bell County, pointing south all the way to Austin, some of our southwest counties and southeast. Red flag warning, critical fire weather, and honestly, even if you're not in the peak counties, same thing, you guys. We have that elevated risk, and now the dust has settled in even to the east of I-35. Just an unusual situation. Very, very high winds. We are used to them gusting up to 15, 20 miles an hour. 55, 60 miles an hour is a different story. And relative humidity has gone so far down in comparison to what we were seeing. So the conditions are definitely there for grass fires to pop up. Wind advisory for all of the shaded counties right here in our northeast counties. And the yellow color, that's a high wind warning, and that's where we're seeing some of the highest gusts. The further you get towards West Texas, a little bit higher of winds for today, but honestly, like I said, doesn't really matter what color you're in. I would definitely use caution, especially if you are headed out and about in the coming hours. Now, looking out over Killeen right now, usually there are flags here. They have taken them down, of course, because of what we're dealing with. You can see the trees moving nicely. Traffic is moving nicely in general, but again, I just notated, and you're going to see it if you are out over the next several hours, especially before the sun goes down, that in general, traffic is going to be an issue just because visibility is low in some locations. Looking out over Killeen, usually you can see the hills right there, and you can see visibility is obstructed. 70 degrees, relative humidity in the 20s percentiles. And so, yeah, it's dry. It's very, very windy out there, you guys. Winds sustained at 26 in Killeen right now, but again, gusting much, much higher. I'd say double that number right there, and that's what we're gusting up to. Whew, this kind of tells the whole story. If you haven't stepped outside and you're still sitting at work or something of that nature, if you have a baseball practice, thankfully my kiddos do not tonight, I don't think we'd be going. I will notate this as well. I do have one child with asthma, and this would not be good for him. It is enough in the air, I would say, at ground level, even here in Bell County, where it just hit in the past hour or so, that it would start to bother at least one of my sons, my husband as well. So if you have asthma or underlying conditions where this type of air bothers you, I would say, if you can, just stay inside. throughout the evening hours. You definitely don't want to irritate yourself. Now looking out over Temple, and you can kind of just see this blanket of dust that is settled in. It's just very, very windy when you head out, and it is causing for some traffic and visibility issues. And we have zoomed in a little bit. Usually we have that pointed off towards Scott and White, which if we were to zoom out, you would not be able to see right now from here at the station in downtown Temple. And again, relative humidity very, very low. It is dry air that we have in place. Wind sustained at 33. Again, I would multiply that. That is what we're gusting up to. So when we talk about sustained winds, that is just what the general wind is going at. That's on the lower threshold. And then you'll get gusts here and there that are higher. So we've been seeing that basically since the overnight hours when I first woke up earlier today. Seems like a long time ago at the moment. They actually had some snow up in Amarillo, just to tell you a statewide story here. Since we're on a live stream and I'm not so time restricted. They had snow up in the Panhandle. I've been seeing videos from Amarillo to Lubbock of blowing snow. They've had walls of dust, like when it filtered into central Texas, you couldn't see a big wall. When it hits out in West Texas, oftentimes it comes from these big old fields where there's not a lot of grass, there's not a lot of water and trees out there. So it will basically form what looks like a front and be pushing through, and it's kind of scary. It could be scary when you come upon it. And so I've been seeing videos circulating from I-20, from 84 between Abilene, Sweetwater up towards Lubbock, Midland, Odessa as well, even San Angelo, where the dust is so thick it is causing wrecks on the roadways. They are shutting down roadways southwest of Lubbock. I saw something from Plains out there that they had some highways shut down because you couldn't see the car in front of you, type of low visibility out there. So it's not that bad here in central Texas, of course, but again, lower visibility. I would compare it to when we have dense fog settled in, where you just need to be careful if you're going to be out and about. You can see some very light rainfall up on the Red River corridor. Other than that, rain has cleared out of the state, and we're all dealing with these much drier and very, very windy of conditions, as you can see on satellite radar. So what to expect? Winds right now sustained at about 30 miles an hour, but we're gusting closer to 60 miles an hour here and there. I can verify that. I stepped outside at my house. I saw a lot of downed trees in Bell County today, down limbs. We've had power outages in I know at least Robinson, it was widespread, but there's other locations too. Gatesville's phones were out this morning. It is not just localized to a town or two. This is an area-wide issue that we're dealing with in terms of the winds today. That red flag warning goes until 7 o'clock this evening. You can see the counties, but other than that, it's going to remain windy is what I'm telling you throughout the evening hours. It will start to go down, but still be on the windy side. Just not as extreme as what we're dealing with right now. We wake up tomorrow on Wednesday morning with a northerly wind gusting up to 25, 30 miles an hour is likely the highest that we go throughout tomorrow. Now we could have a couple of stray gusts higher than that, especially in the morning hours earlier, but overall, it will be more of a breezy day, more of the wind that we're used to when it's windy outside, not this extreme wind that we're dealing with this afternoon as you're getting off of work, picking the kiddos up, running errands, whatever you've got going on outdoors right now. It is just ridiculously windy and not the type of wind that we're used to. And again, maybe you just tuned in the past couple of minutes since I said it, but it is blowing dust that has settled in over central Texas, came in from the west. And we're likely going to see it until the sun goes down, and it will likely be gone tomorrow, you guys. This stuff, it'll come through and be dramatic for a little bit, and then the next day is typically settled in and it's done. So it's not going to be lingering around for days. But winds can be gusty up to 25, 30 miles an hour at least tomorrow, so another breezy day. Thursday, unfortunately, it looks like winds will be back out of the south, gusting up above 25 miles an hour again, and that is not the last day in the extended forecast that I'm seeing. Windy conditions, we're actually going to have a front cross through. It's not going to impact temperatures dramatically or make us super cold over the weekend. It will drop us from super warm and windy conditions out of the south on Thursday, very spring-like forecast, but over the weekend it looks like Saturday we'll be gusting up above 25 miles an hour once again once that front does roll through. So We do sometimes see this, especially during spring in Central Texas, where we will have a windy spring. We're kicking off what we call meteorological spring. That started on Saturday on the 1st. Now, actual spring doesn't kick in for another week or two. We do roll our clocks forward this weekend, by the way, but yeah, we do see this sometimes. This is just a little bit of an unusual situation today, I will say. I don't remember many days where the dust made it here to Central Texas, so it may be your first time seeing it, and yes, it is probably scaring some folks out there, so just staying home if you can, I would recommend over the next few hours. It's not fun to go sit out in traffic and have your car, you know, blowing side to side, things of that nature. Futurecast. Let's talk about what we can expect next. I went over the winds. Let's talk about other conditions such as temperatures, etc., and our next chance for precipitation. That is one question I have had a couple of times this afternoon is a storm about to blow in? Are we getting more thunderstorms? That answer is no. That moved out early this morning. This is just a blowing dust. We actually have much lower humidity that has settled in across the region. We wake up in the 40s, still windy tomorrow morning, just not as extreme as right now. And then we hop up to nearly 70 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. So it is going to be pretty temperate of conditions temperature-wise. You probably won't notice the weather much tomorrow. It'll be close to the norms. But again, can be breezy, especially in the morning hours. We roll into Thursday, start out in the 40s. That afternoon, we are warm. Some of us may touch 80 degrees Thursday afternoon, and that's going to be one of our warmest days, if not the warmest, over the next 7. Winds out of the south, and yes, going to be breezy over 20 miles an hour once again. We roll into Friday, and a front eventually will get here. It's likely going to be in the late night hours or early Saturday, depending on where you're at, and this timing can change slightly. What you need to know is that we wake up Saturday windy again. And we do have a slight chance for rain. It's a bit too early. Models are not in agreement on exactly what this picture looks like. I would say for now, isolated showers will be possible, especially earlier on Saturday. But a 7-day forecast pulls up that crazy tower cam image once again, and that is live. You can see it just looks orange or brown. And yes, that is very typical of when blowing dust settles in. Again, I did live in West Texas for quite some time, and we got this regularly, so we got used to it. But if you're not used to it, I could see how it could definitely worry you. There are not thunderstorms moving in. It is clearing out. We are going to be breezy again tomorrow. We'll wake up still gusting to 30 miles an hour, but it won't be the 60-mile-an-hour gusts that we are dealing with. And we do roll our clocks forward this weekend, so kicking off spring in an interesting way, or at least the month of March. Again, just before I end this stream, I want to show you one more time what we are dealing with looking out over both Killeen and Temple. As you can see, looking out over Killeen, there's usually flags right there. The wind is blowing. Visibility is down for sure. I can verify that because I just drove from Slater to Temple in the past hour, and visibility was much lower than the hour before. You can see it's right about 70 degrees, but this is the video that I want to stop on here, and just notating that it likely looks like this for the next couple of hours. This is from downtown Temple, looking out over the city, and it is zoomed in, but you can see the camera shaking. We've seen a lot of birds flying around right here. Definitely I-35 is slowed down. Traffic in general is going to be slowed down. Your kids might be asking you questions. In fact, one of my youngest right now, not counting the one that will be here any minute, but the one that is is at a daycare, and they let me know that the playground blew away and this afternoon, and that he may be asking questions. Not that a 1-year-old can ask a lot of questions, but your kiddos may have stories when they get home if they're older, and be asking you what this is and what is happening and if it's about to storm. Because for a lot of folks, we're used to storms, and that's what they're going to think is happening right here, and it is not. So just letting you know, it is dust that is blanketing the region. It will likely be gone tomorrow, but we're still going to be gusting up to and above 50 miles an hour over the next few hours. We've been seeing that over, especially since lunchtime, I will say. When I did a lunchtime update, we were still only gusting up to about 40, 45 at times at the very most. This is different. This is not something that we oftentimes see across Central Texas, but hey, if you are at a location where you're seeing damage, if you saw storm damage this morning, if you're seeing anything ongoing this afternoon associated with this dust and this wind that has kicked up and is so high, straight line wind damage can do as much damage as a low end tornado. Some of these wind gusts across Texas, especially up in DFW where they've got more significant of damage, but even here in Central Texas, that's near Category 1 hurricanes, some of these gusts that we've been seeing and hearing reports of. And so there's definitely going to be some damage here and there. Fences, tree limbs, trees being knocked over, things of that nature. Power outages is what I'm talking about for the most part that I've been hearing about, but we would love to hear your reports. You can jump on the Facebook comments or you can jump on our website and just let us know what you're seeing at your location. It helps for us to know those things so that we can go blast that out to the public and let them know to use caution of what they can expect if they are headed out and about. We can also turn those reports into the Weather Service, who always does surveys of damage and things of that nature when they're accumulating a whole storm report. Post-storm is how they do it. But yeah, again, it is now 4:12. I'm going to end this stream for now. We'll be on air at 5, 6, and 10. And likely do another one of these at some point now that Matt is in the house as well. But busy weather day for sure. Again, this is blowing dust, has blanketed the region. Very low humidity, dry air. It is very windy. We are still under that red flag warning and wind advisories until later on this evening when the sun does go down. Winds will start to go down, but tomorrow morning it will still be windy technically, just not these wild, more extreme gusts that we're seeing right now. So you guys stay safe. If you can, I would not head out and about in this. First and foremost, just staying safe, even though it's just wind. Lots of people have to be out on the roadways getting off of work and whatnot. So if you can avoid it, that would probably be a good idea. And again, if you have asthma or other conditions where air like this would bother you, I could certainly feel it when I stepped out. So would recommend using caution. And you guys, again, let us know what you are seeing at your location. Thanks.